Hi, and welcome to Ms. Cooper's art class. Today I'm going to show you a very easy way of practicing your stippling, which is drawing with dots. Right now I have a piece of printer paper right here, and on the printer paper I've simply drawn some shapes with pencil using a compass and a straight edge. I also have a Pigma Micron pen, size 08. These are my favorite felt tip pens for drawing, but there are plenty of other good ones. You could even use a marker if you're trying to practice your stippling for the first time. Now this tutorial is all about getting consistency, and if you haven't seen my beginner tutorials, I would recommend watching some of those first. What I'm doing here is I'm taking my overlapping shapes, and I'm just practicing doing some consistent shading in there. And by consistent, I mean that if you were to squint at this video, and I'd love if you squinted at this video, if you squint at this video, the circle should look to be about the same flat shade of gray throughout. And so then as I move through the different shapes, I'm going to practice using different values or shades of gray that I've made using these dots. Where they overlap, I might choose to make it darker or a different value, and this is a good way of practicing differentiating your values from each other. You can see some of this consistency action happening in this circle here because I spread my dots out a little bit farther. And if I were to squint at this circle and see an area that looks a little bit too pale, I will look at the middle areas between chunks of dots and just add another dot. And this is sped up, but it really took me about an hour to do all of these shapes that you see here because I was looking very carefully at what I was doing. And then to challenge myself, I made a gradient. A gradient is when you change from one value to another smoothly, like I'm doing here. I find those more challenging than doing a flat value, so I'm adding a gradient, and then where the shapes overlap, I'm adding a darker gradient. I had to go back and check this part many times, and this was the longest part of the whole process of making this artwork for the video. Now, if you were to do this activity, you could do this for yourself and recognize that you're human. If you wanted perfect dots all lined up with each other, you would have used a ruler, or, you would have just printed out the artwork. So this is a great way to practice training your brain and doing the best that your human self can do to make some beautiful value and practice your stippling while recognizing that it won't look like a robot did it, and it's very positive. If you're a teacher, this is a good, encouraging activity to do with a class because it's a little bit more exciting than just stippling gradients across a page in boxes. It's a way to play with overlapping. And if you want to use this as a way to introduce composition in a very simple and abstract way to your classes, this could be a really useful activity. I might end up using this for my classes too. We're going to see how this goes. And again, you can see I'm double checking my gradients. And I decided to do one last triangle before ending my practice for the day. It doesn't look perfect, it doesn't look finished, but it's a really good practice, and I'm very glad I did it. And I would love it if you tried this too. You can use whatever basic supplies you have for your stippling. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will give this a try, and happy art making. Take care.